This computer. Good morning. Hi, I'm here
Good
with Mark
morning.
Bowie, and he is going to be teaching the Finger Lakes landscape photography workshop this summer with PPSNYS workshops. And I believe it's July 21st,
23rd.
23rd through the entire week. So
You
I'm
bet.
actually very excited because I'm going to be I'm already registered to take the class.
Are you
And
really? How
wait.
exciting. Excellent.
Yeah, but I figured our fellow photographers might like to know a little bit more about the class, so we have some
You
questions
bet.
for you.
You bet.
So, Mark, can you tell us a little bit about your photography origin story?
Sure. I've been a professional now since 1994. I grew up in the Adirondacks and I still do a lot of work there. I've done 3 coffee table books on the Adirondacks, but now work out of Western Massachusetts in Pittsfield.
Hmm.
And one of the things I most like to do is actually do projects where I give myself an assignment, for instance, to photograph the entire month of November, or as I'm currently working on, photograph forests and go really in depth. So one of the great things we'll be doing on this workshop is to explore woodlands and trees and how to photograph them, as well as photographing the night sky like you're seeing back here. I specialize in night photography. I've done a couple ebooks on that and continue to learn. So it's a growing process.
Oh, I have got some questions about that, but let's move on to, so what led you to create this class?
Yeah, this is really interesting. I've taught waterfalls workshops out of the Finger Lakes for years through the Adirondack Photography Institute, and those are always very popular. But I wanted to take this even deeper to not only photograph waterfalls, but to concentrate on other landscape subjects, trees and woodlands, shooting streams. And the Finger Lakes areas has all these in high concentrations. So in addition to photographing those, we'll also get to shoot the night sky. And the night sky over those lakes is just phenomenally beautiful. So it's a very diverse subject matter. And the great thing about doing this for 6 days, it runs Sunday, July 23rd to Friday the 28th, is that we'll probably be experiencing a whole variety of weather conditions. And we can take our time and get to the locations to take advantage of the best light and shooting conditions.
That sounds fabulous. I can't wait. I really struggle with photographing trees. There's something about just there's so many of them and it's confusing, and figuring
It's
out a good
chaotic, isn't it?
composition is actually really difficult.
It's
So
very difficult, but I have some wonderful tips and techniques to help you kind of lessen the visual chaos and to
mm,
create things like depth in your images and looking for visual corridors to lead viewers through the scene. It's a very artistic endeavor. It's very in depth, but photographing trees and woodlands is so rewarding. It's so neat.
I can't wait. And I've been dabbling with Milky Way photography, but yeah, I feel like you can't stop learning. There's just so much, as much as you learn, there's so much more to learn.
Of course, and the more you explore, the more you find, and the better it all gets. But we'll concentrate on starting with the basics, right? How to determine exposures in the dark of night, how to focus in the dark of night, how to look at your histogram and to see what that's telling you and what you may need to do as an alternative. For instance, I'll oftentimes photograph the Milky Way by shooting multiple exposures of it, one after the other, at the exact same exposure settings, bring that into software and stitch those together or stack them together to reduce noise and bring out more color and detail. So we'll review how to do that. I'll give live demonstrations in the field and in processing about how to process those images. It's
That's
very cool.
fantastic. That's one of my big concerns. It's, yeah, you can go out and take the photo, but then making it look like what your eye saw, making it great is like a
Certainly.
whole different level of effort at the editing stage.
Certainly. Yeah. Yeah. To get something that comes out like that glowing Milky Way back there it takes a little bit to pull things out. That's kind of what astronomers have been doing for years, right? They don't just take a single shot of the space. They take multiple shots to be able to pull out the best details and extract color where our eyes aren't seeing it.
Mm,
So one
nice.
of the great things about shooting at night for us doing landscape work is that we can combine good details in the landscape with details in the sky by blending images, and the results are just crazy. the camera sees so much more than we can at night. And it's I can't tell you the number of times I've been standing next to a student out in the field and the image pops up on the back of their screen and they just go, oh,
Yeah,
I've done it myself and I continue to do it. It's such a surprise when you can really capture something well.
that's fantastic. So what should students bring to class?
A cheery disposition, um, an aptitude to learn, I suppose. But I'd highly recommend bringing not only a mirrorless camera, a digital SLR works fine as well, but obviously it has to be digital to be able to take full advantage of what we're learning on the back of the camera. So in addition to bringing those, I'd highly recommend they also bring some kind of computer, whether it's a laptop or a tablet even, as long as they're somewhat proficient with the basics in, say, Lightroom and Photoshop, from which I'll be teaching. That'll really, really help. So yeah, bring a computer with you, maybe a backup drive to be able to store the images. And in the program description that's listed on PPSNYS website is a what to bring list for this, so that you'll see that it may have things like, oh, bring a flashlight or two for the night shooting and maybe to do some light painting. But all in all, the basics of just bringing good footwear and layers of clothing for chilly nights, that'll really help.
So I haven't carefully looked through that list yet. But I bought last year this move, shoot, move thing that's supposed to help you get like great star photos. I have not used it yet because I don't understand how to use it.
This
Is
their
that
star
something you
tracker.
use and might be discussing during class?
Yeah, I have a star tracker myself. Whether I bring it or not will depend on, how much attention I need to be paying to everybody else. But what these things really do for you is to help move your camera at the same speed as the Earth's rotation, thereby keeping the night stars relatively stationary, so that you can pull great detail and color out of your images, especially by stacking them.
Fantastic.
So it's a powerful tool. It's a little bit of a learning curve to get those going, but once you've got that down, you're in business.
Well, I'm hoping that's going to be my goal that week, is to finally learn how to use that thing. So
sweet. I think that's an admirable goal.
Are there any resources or videos that students should watch before they come to the workshop?
It's not mandatory, thanks. I will be doing live presentations on photographing the landscape, and doing some waterfalls and stream photography, shooting forests and woodlands. So those presentations are very detailed. I do have instructional videos out on both photographing in the forest, as well as combining multiple exposures for doing things like panoramas and HDRs and focus stacking. So if you want to go to my website, which is markbowie.com, you'll be able to see those and purchase those there.
All right. Well, we'll definitely put a link to that on this blog post.
Great. Thanks.
Is there anything else that you believe students should know before they come to class?
It's not mandatory, but I can tempt you with these things. That Finger Lakes region is stunningly beautiful. And the great thing about doing this 6-day workshop is that we're going to be able to pick and choose where we go. And we may even visit the same scene twice so that we can see it in different weather conditions. My goal, or my hope, is that we don't get 6 days worth of blue skies and warm temperatures. I'd love to see a variety of weather, maybe a downpour or two, maybe a thunderstorm over the lakes, maybe a bit of gushing rain that fills the waterfalls again. And so a wide variety of things would be great. Certainly the scenery has some variety to it. I can't tell you the number of waterfalls in that area. In fact, there are over 200 named waterfalls, and I'm sure there are some that, what's the minimum height of a waterfall, that aren't even counted in that list. There are a number of gullies that feed the lakes on either side of them, and some of them are on private property, but a lot of them are public. They're close to the roadway. You don't need a lot of hiking aptitude to be able to get into them, and I have a wide variety of things to show you. So
is there a certain fitness level that students will need to have?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, we'd highly recommend that you be in good physical shape and able to, let's say, tolerate moderate inclines and declines so that nobody is hurt out there. Obviously, wear good sturdy hiking boots, bring layers of clothing, expect to get your feet wet. You can get some wonderful vantage points either at the base of the waterfalls or maybe just wading into the streams a little bit. So if you have something like muck boots or gaiters, feel free to bring those as well. Boy, it can get you to some really interesting vantage points.
You know, I have a packing list that I created for doing photography in Iceland. I think it might
Oh,
be
very good.
perfect for this as well.
It would. Midsummer in the Finger Lakes, using the same equipment list as
Well,
Iceland.
if you're gonna,
Probably
I have these
apropos.
great boots that allow me to go into the water so I can take photos standing, you know, at the base of a waterfall.
Doesn't it make a difference?
It makes a huge difference.
It's huge. That vantage point is, there's nothing like it because the viewers feel like they're standing in the frame with you.
Right, right. Well, I'm very
Amen to that.
excited
I'm
about this
excited.
class.
Let's go here.
I can't wait.
This is
I'm
really
headed
good.
over to do some photography in Texas next month, or actually
Oh,
a couple of
yes.
weeks. But I am really looking forward to this class.
Yeah,
So,
me too. Thanks.
all right. Well, I think that's it. We will be chatting, I guess, as we get closer to this event. But
Thanks so much for taking the time. And if people have questions, they can feel free to call me or visit me on my website, which is markbowie.com, and you'll see the contact information there. So thanks for considering it. And Sandra, thanks so much for doing this.
All right. I can't wait for your class. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care now.
Okay. Nope, that wasn't it. I'm trying to stop the recording, and for some reason,
As long as it recorded,
oh,
we're in
here it
business.
is. It's at the top.